Welcome again to another day in the ALS series. We are looking at week 6, day 2 of the ALS, the Amateur League series. If you are joining us here on this around 12:06 now, we have the first game of the day, which is going to be the undefeated Iron Dragons, as well as Target Shopping Carts. Now, we're looking at the last couple days going into the playoffs. We only have today's games and then next week's games, and then we are well into the playoffs. We have a lot more interesting games to play, especially heading into today. We also, because we have Threat Level Midnight against Endgame, Martin Cabello versus Legacy Ambassadors, and then to round things off with an exhibition match with the Nancy Drew crew, which they may opt to not play, which is an option for them, but we'll see how that ends up when we arrive to that time. But let's not forget that the most contested spot on the ladder right now is our 4th spot, so you definitely don't want to miss anything to find out the standings after today. And in case you were just tuning in for the first time or just tuning in general, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Brown Anonymous, and my co-caster Nilix.
Hello, nice to meet you.
And we will be casting at least the first 2 games for today. We'll see how that ends up going for the rest of the day. But I want to get right into as much as we can.
Yes, exactly. And as you said, with the 4th seed spot heating up, this is going to be a pretty critical game for Target Shopping Carts. If they can manage to hand Iron Dragon their first win, their first loss, that is, then it would be quite a change to their look at the standings, wouldn't it?
It would, and I'm ready to talk about it, to talk about not only them, but as well as the players on each team, because obviously just the standing themselves aren't going to be enough to get them where they need to be, but extra on the side of Iron Dragon, seeing as how they are still undefeated.
All right, and our draft is beginning here. First pick goes to Iron Dragons.
First man, more so. We do have Kindred is best still in the top lane, Ancient Mami in the jungle, Bisu in the mid lane, Kara, Griffin Viper, and Dream Lover as the AD carry and support for Iron Dragon. Now, running down to the timer for the first band, that's the Thresh band that comes out. Very versatile support, can pretty much fill any role that you need him to.
Of course, and that repositioning is annoying as hell.
Of course it is. The Elise band going out.
Ban on Elise. Looks like we're looking at the jungle here today.
We don't usually see a lot of Elise in this series, but just to run through the team of Target Shopping Carts real quick, we do have Makey in the top lane, a Kid in the jungle, a Jin as their mid laner, Kuchihira as the AD carry, and Corey as the support.
Yes, of course, and it looks like we are really not looking for assassins to come out of the jungle today, with a Rengar ban followed by Master Yi. Interesting decisions, at least from my perspective.
I don't know. Master Yi is one of those champions who, although can be taken advantage of in an organized scene, can still, regardless, pop off anyway. Yeah, but we've seen Iron Dragon use the Yi Taric strategy as well, so I wouldn't be, despite the nerfs to it, I don't think any of the major nerfs went through yet. I think that's actually next patch. But the funneling strat, especially when Bisu is mid with the Taric, is just absolutely disgusting. And even if it's not, just the combination of Yi and Taric in general is still really strong.
Oh sure, heck, getting that kind of stunning positioning for Yi to just slice you into pieces is a little insane. But moving into the champions we're actually going to see today, looks like we're starting off with a Yasuo pick.
Right after the Olaf and Vladimir bans.
So interestingly, there are no knock-up champions banned for that Yasuo, so there's plenty of enabling going on for his ult, on top of course, Yasuo's just own frustrations.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see the Scion pick here, because we have seen Kindred play the Scion before, but just to play it in combination with the Yasuo, I want to see what we've got in the top lane for it.
Yeah, no, it works to me. You get that long range enabling, great initiation. Riven as a response into possibly Echo, it seemed. Yep, there it is. Well, that's definitely going to grab a little bit of some amount of CC.
And for those of you who haven't seen, who are new, I am a Riven main with about 2 million points on that champion across 3 accounts. So, and I've even played it in 2 exhibition matches. So I will try not to scrutinize it too much.
Oh, the sudden change to Gragas here. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't his belly bump charge count as a knockup? Could Yasuo ult off that?
Yes, he can. Not only can he ult off the body slam, but also his ultimate as well.
Oh yeah, exploding keg, of course.
If you're buying, I'm in, as he says. And we've got Karthus. V2 is playing Karthus mid. That's not something I don't think we've seen from.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting pick. Though I will say, having played with someone who played Karthus constantly before, if you get one that gets rolling, it's a pain in the ass.
Yep, and then not to miss anything else from it, but I think the Karthus is an interesting pick after seeing not only the Echo but the Riven, and I'm sure that that Kinder were probably cursing at me at some point about the Diana being picked.
Okay, so we picked up Diana before going into a Leona ban. Looks like we are avoiding sunburn today.
Oh god, break out the sunglasses, jeez.
And then a Vayne. Misfortune, alright, starting to target the bottom lane now. Interesting.
It's strong. Even that bot lane that banned bot lane combination of Misfortune and Leona is absurdly strong. Like with the lockdown provided from Leona and just her and Misfortune being able to channel a full charge of her ultimate on anybody that Leona jumps to is
pretty
absurdly powerful. But the Aphelios and Vayne bans coming out, meaning the targets on the AD carries is really what we're looking at. It seems as though both AD carries and supports are still available, but usually for the past week that I've been casting, I kept mentioning that the common bans were Caitlyn, Kai'Sa, Aphelios, and yet as of recent days, we've only really seen the Aphelios ban.
Now, a bit of a peek behind the curtain here, but I'm actually a little bit out of the loop with Aphelios. I have not learned as much about the new champions recently, so it all comes as a surprise to me when it comes to those last 4 guys. Looks like, though, a Jinx and Rumble. So
Rumble support has been picking up a lot of popularity too, so I'm not really surprised to see it.
Interesting.
Yeah, because Rumble has been very strong hidden OP for a long time, especially to the people that can play him to a good extent. To round out the team comp, though, that we do see Corey picking up that Alistar, so
good move.
A lot of fun. But this is I don't know if this is the first time we've seen Kindred on a carry champion, on a carry position really, because usually we see him on something a little bit tankier, a lot more split push prio champions, but this is new to me, at least. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, split pushing is always a strategy I enjoyed myself when I was playing. But yeah, sometimes you just need to get in there and get some people killed so you can get moving. Whether it's looking at team fighting or assassination, both are good ideas. And
Kindred also being one of the team captains for the All-Star team is also a fun one, because I wanted to see what that draft looks like.
So interesting then that he'd be changing up strategies now if he's a captain. Looks like they might have had a bit of a team meeting about something.
Yeah, the All-Star team. I really want. I'm excited for the All-Star game.
Excuse me.
Yeah, no. It's all right, because we do have the spectator delay starting to tick down now. It's a 3-minute delay, but Now, this is a question I've been asking all of the other casters for the past week, but if you were, and also the viewers, if you were to live in Runeterra, from where would you reside?
Oh, shoot, that is a good question. Honestly, I just don't know that I'm cutthroat enough to really do well in most places in the Noxian Empire. So I would probably end up somewhere in, oh goodness, in Garen Lux's hometown, whose name escapes me.
Demacia.
There we go. How could I forget? Demacia!
The only thing that champion is known for
Exactly.
in terms of like voice lines.
Oh goodness. Which, actually lines up because the first champion I was ever truly any good at was Lux, actually. So that was she the first champion I ever bought? Oh no, I'm not sure. But yeah, so definitely somewhere on that side of things, though at this point I don't know enough of the exact town names to tell you where.
Yeah, the viewers can definitely tell where I want to see where you guys are from, the viewers. But from me, I was told by Monochrome that I seemed like an Ionian, and I was like, I don't know about that. Because I was looking more towards Mount Targon and and Demacia myself, actually.
No, yeah, Ionia had kind of slipped my mind there.
Because you've got like Mount Targon, Ionia, Piltover, and Zon, Bilgewater, like a lot of different areas. Freljord.
Oh gosh, I would be.
Definitely not
I
Freljord.
would get kicked out of Bilgewater by all the ruffians there. I don't think I'd manage it.
A little too rough for you?
Probably. See, I could bluster for a while, but they'd figure me out eventually.
I'm sure they don't take anything in Bilgewater. But with 20 seconds left on the spectator delay, I do want to bring it back to the game.
Of course.
I wonder. We don't see 5-point starts in any games except for the ones that I'm in. So hopefully we see a 5-point start this game.
Yeah. Oh boy, it certainly makes things a little easier to follow, at least for me.
Yeah, in the chat, also, feel free to take your votes. We're taking votes now to place your bets on who's taking this game. Because my bet, obviously, I like to root for the underdog. Iron Dragon is definitely not the underdog here, seeing as how they're in a solid first place. So I'm going to go with Target Shopping Carts. I think they can take it today.
It certainly would be amazing, and as I brought up before, it would definitely do something for their standings. Though, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure if I see it. Not that I'm counting them out, but they'll have to show me what they've got first.
We'll see. We got one for TSC. Target Shopping Carts. They got this. I like their team comp.
I do find it interesting. Last I heard, Kaiso did a lot more magic damage than she did physical. So we are actually looking at a very magic damage heavy team here with Diana and Echo. Riven, of course, bringing a little bit of physical and true into the top lane, but it depends on how much destruction she's going for. Now, she could be going pretty heavy with that Conqueror rune.
Actually, Conqueror no longer gives the true damage.
Does it not? Well, there's my age showing.
Not only that, but Kaisa is actually a really good mix, and it depends on how you build her. Because if you build her more of an AP, because if you build her AP, she ends up doing more AP damage. If you build her AD, she does a good mix of both. Because her percent damage and her on-hit damage are both magic damage.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, looks like we should be spawning in any second now. Yep, there we are. Emotes coming out. Champions coming up against the wall. Let's see what we've got going on in some things here. All right. Oh. And it looks like my camera has immediately paused. Am I the only one seeing that?
Nope, the game was definitely paused. So, which means that somebody is having some kind of technical difficulties. At least it was remembered to be used this time.
Looks like Kindred's got some internet issues.
Because a couple of times throughout this series, I don't think all of the players were aware of the ability to use the slash pause, and we saw a couple of moments where there were extended periods of AFK.
Well, I mean, it certainly doesn't come up in normal games you'd be playing online, but definitely an important thing to remember when you're getting into these pitched games, if you will.
I like to say organized play is the way I like to put it. But any interesting rune choices? I don't think there were anything too out of the ordinary in terms of the rune choices.
Not that I picked up on immediately. Looked like a lot of things I could have seen coming, though, with my outdated knowledge, as we've already learned. Conqueror on Yasuo to help with that physical engage. And actually, let's see here.
Yeah, it's mostly just Conqueror. I guess that everything else is about standard things you can take on them. Although most of the time you do see the Electrocute on Echo. The Dark Harvest scales a little bit better if you're able to proc it.
True. Yeah, that Electrocute can be great for his burst damage. It's pretty easy to chain a couple skills into Echo, and honestly, on any engage, you probably should be. But if you can, as you're saying, if you get those stacks up, long game is certainly something to aim for here. Yeah, looking through the rest of their team, it looks like pretty much all of them benefit from long game, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. TSC's got a good bit of scaling going on.
Both teams actually scale really well. Yasuo is a monster late game, and then
of course,
with the but the problem I think is that Iron Dragons is gonna run into is their immobility actually.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Their two main carriers, which are Bisu and Griffin Viper, the two of them are don't have any. There's not really any mobility or self peel there for themselves, aside from the Jinx trap and the really
Jinx
any peel on their team at all.
And it's true. In fact, I'd say that Gragas is holding a good deal of it with the CC on his charge and his ultimate. Jinx has, I'd consider, like another half of a point there with her passive, but I mean, that's obviously not exactly consistent.
Nope. But then you've got Riven, Echo, Diana, Kaisa, and Alistar, who is a very strong engage comp who can get to the backline with relative ease, but there's not really a major front line either. And with Ancient Mommy taking Predator, it's very likely that we'll see him playing AP this game.
True. They don't have as much of a dedicated person to stand there and distract people. And Rumble doesn't have any hard CC of his own, just a little bit of slowing. So, now what could get interesting, though, is if they try to dive too hard onto that backline and they end up standing in Karthus circle. Rumble missiles, they line up for Yasuo and or Gragas' knockups. That's where that dive could become a problem, but only if Karthus and Jinx survive long enough that they aren't already dead.
True, because if you're looking at Diana can effortlessly one-shot 3 of the 4 champions there, and with a little bit more damage, can take down the Yasuo as well as the Rumble too.
Of course, that all depends on them being able to get there in the way they want to. So we'll have to see how well Iron Dragons does at keeping that positioning in their favor, despite the lack of ability to change it immediately. Because if they don't manage to get into that Jinx, and even to some extent the Karthus, though, Suicide Karthus, it exists, then Jinx is scary, man. Like, if I ever see a Jinx that I'm dealing with, it is not something that I am happy about.
Yeah, if she gets into range of Alistar, though, or Alistar or Diana, it's not going to be pretty for her.
Oh, no, definitely not. It is certainly a contest of movement there, and it's just, will the advantage in movement that we're seeing pan out the way that TSC wants it to?
But now, I think the most important thing to note is just the fact how these laning phases are going to play out. Because I don't think that the top lane in general, because it was even voted on in the for the LCS on Twitter. I remember seeing that where they voted on which role has like the most impact in the outcome of the game, right? So obviously, when it came down to it, top lane had the lowest votes of any other role, and the highest ones were mid lane and jungle.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Top lane, a lot of players feel like is really isolated, and there's good reasons for that. You are up there by yourself. The objective options are limited, though they are a lot stronger than when I used to be around, what with the Herald and all. Oh, and it looks like we've got motion.
It is. Dream Lover is still in the base at about 22 seconds, taking him a little bit longer to get off the platform. But it seems as though we might see the 5-point start from Iron Dragon. Hopefully. Maybe, please.
Yep, looks like we are getting into defense.
Close.
Oh, wait, what is Gragas up to over here?
Makey
Gragas and
sees
Riven
him
get
and
into
can
a little spat in the
easily
top lane.
easily could have, full comboed it there, but probably
And
opted not to in case anybody else was standing there.
instead, it looks like we've just taken some vision on the red buff here. I wonder if they'll use that for anything offensive. Based on the team comp, I don't think so. I think it's just to gain some scouting, but could be wrong.
Both junglers opting to place the ward and then replace their trinkets for sweepers.
Definitely trying to not get spotted then. Guess both of them are going for some heavy ganks. Not surprising, considering one side wants to defend a perfect record and the other side really wants to take it away. Definitely going to be looking at any advantage they can get in that way.
As laning phase begins to go out and the junglers start on their camps.
Yep. Progressing smoothly there. Minions starting to meet. No one really around to deal with that. Not surprising since we're dealing with jungle still.
Makey able to dictate the way that the lane moves a little bit in the top lane.
Looks like Rumble already going for a little bit of early harass. Seems like he started with his Electro Harpoon and managed to get a shot on Kaisa.
Now the Electro Harpoon make sure that he can sit behind not sit behind the minions, but sit relatively far back and still be able to poke and cause a slow. That'll make it a little easier for Griffin Viper to land chompers or any of the other abilities.
Exactly. Oh, small engage on Riven on Dice onto Yasuo here. Looks like they came out of that about even, surprisingly.
That last Q there at the end definitely evening out the health bars. But don't forget that Riven did start the Longsword 3, so a little bit more sustain there in the short term.
True. Both sides pretty much just jockeying for position so far. No one really wants to give up anything too quickly. Oh, goodness! What did I miss?
Kindred immediately capitalizing on the fight here, or capitalizing on the fact that Riven's Qs were down. And took the opportunity to just jump him, with no real way to get out.
I certainly didn't see it coming. I was busy looking at other lanes.
I was as well, until I caught the tail end of that.
Well, that's definitely going to feel good for Iron Dragon's side. Always nice to get first blood out of the way.
Vision starting to go out on each of these lanes. The River Ward on both the top and bot sides.
Definitely a lot of jockeying for position right now. Looks like mostly that Alistair and Kaisa are putting a little bit of pressure on, but oh, here comes Gragas. Gank in and there. Is the Ignite to get him? There goes Alistair.
The Ignite Flash also blown. Ignite from Dream Lover and Flash from Griffin Viper.
And that's got to be a bit of a morale breaker too. The moment you pushed in, they had not been up there for more than 15, 30 seconds. And I just started mentioning, looks like they're getting into pushing position. Then immediately Gragas, boom!
Makey up here struggling a little bit, looking to see they're being forced to back away from this. Putting down a lot of damage, clipping an auto attack, doesn't really matter. Mid lane, Ajin's Diana trying to push the wave in, evening out the waves again so that it doesn't push in either direction.
Yeah, definitely might not want to get so far up, or at least I'd feel a bit gun-shy after Gragas showed up that quickly. Oh, and here we go again. Echo coming in from flashing and queuing into... Oh boy, that is not going to feel good for Jinx. She really wants that farm.
Yep, and that's a pretty decent-sized wave that they're just... it's a full wave with a cannon in it. That's just going to go towards the side of Kuji here, which means that he's going to have quite a bit of extra to work with here.
Oh, and now Gragas. Oh no, the shield and flash coming out just in time to save Riven's skin.
It's very close, very close. A good effort. Flash being blown from Ancient Mami to make sure that the body slam lasts. But it's difficult to stick to a Riven while she has flash, especially with all of that mobility.
Oh, of course, especially under a turret like that. Between the dashes and the shield. Now that shield may not look very big when you trigger it, but the only health difference that matters is the difference between 1 and 0.
Yeah. And you were very correct there, because 0 means you're dead. So.
Unless you're a couple specific characters that drive me crazy.
But it's like Trendemir.
Don't even get me started on Trendemir. He's not listening, and I don't think people want to listen to my rant that has been building since season 1. So,
we're really looking at champions like in this game more so. So we're looking at none of them that can do that except for Karthus.
Yep, Karthus with his Half-Life, and then some people would actually argue with me and say that Echoes is more frustrating than a lot of other people's, what with his ability to rewind the time on his own health bar.
Yep, not to mention that he has been considered the strongest, like one of the strongest champions in the game, definitely the strongest jungler in the game for quite some time, and not really saying anything.
Looks like we've got Gragas going for something on Riven. No wards available. There's the stun, and Riven gets out easy.
From that. Sensing something was up, using that sixth sense to just back up. But with the vision, with the vision, we have a kid here on the dragon, while noticing that Ancient Mami is on the top side of the jungle.
And it looks like Corey and Kochi are coming up to help him, but there's a little bit of a risk of them being spotted. Nope, Rumble and Jinx either don't suspect it or do not want to get involved.
Warning things are going out that they're missing, but nothing seems to be showing up here, and they don't check the dragon at all, which means that the first dragon is going to go to TSC.
And like I mentioned with First Blood, if that feels great, so does the first dragon. And that Earth Drake's going to help with pushing, certainly. Something that Jinx, in a way, doesn't... In a way, can help counter. She pushes extremely quickly. But that's definitely going to be a boon for Kochi there.
Both junglers on the bot side, but both of them opting to back here.
Kinder and Mikey getting into a bit of an exchange. Looks like minions are going to force Kinder to give up the positioning, though. Which also allows Mikey to take apart that pink ward in the jungle.
Now, with a fight starting down here in the background, the headbutt pulverize landing.
It certainly is. Carrot getting
Corey
really
does not have the
low
ultimate.
there. Oh, there's the
Corey also definitely going to go down to the Karthus ult, but is able to take down Dreamlover beforehand. Not trusting the damage, Kuchi here is forced to flash away and not give another kill to the Griffin Viper.
But that is a big deal, though. It certainly looked to me for a second like it was going to go, oh, wait a second here. Looks like I missed something else in top lane.
So while they were fighting down there, Ancient Mami was ganking Makey again. Going down without even blowing ultimate.
They really do not want Makey to get caught up on that Riven. Oh, but here comes Akir's catching Yasuo under the tower, triggering it. Oh, surprising. I thought after the passive went off that Akid would be going for that on Echo, but looks like he decided to just take the scare off.
Rift Herald is available and being started up by Ancient Mami, but I don't think doesn't look like he's going to commit to that.
Probably a good idea. Doesn't look like they quite have the positioning, especially since Yasuo had just been forced to back off. Oh,
again, coming in from Dreamlover here to this mid lane. Agent forced to use
teleport coming in
to get out, flashing back in to land the Moonfall. But Makey's Riven is here and is unable to pick anybody up. But a lot of damage seems to be going out, but not onto the side of TSC.
Yeah, that was
also here now in this mid lane. Really intense fighting going on, but the Broken Wings not able to. The Broken Wings Keeper is not able to lock anybody down long enough for Agent to put down any relevant damage.
Not quite, but when that Yasuo, when that Echo Baseball comes in, it is definitely a warning that something's coming your way, and sometimes presence is definitely a thing to look out for. Both sides engaging in exchanges a lot here too. Looks like no one's really willing to give up much ground. Oh,
Kid is here in the top lane, unable to land the parallel convergence, but is still
yeah,
able
but
to
it looks like
grab
Kindred's
the
getting
Dark
into a
Harvest
bit of a
rock.
prop. Oh,
But
here comes
comes
the
back and
ultimate,
forces the ultimate out, and it's not enough. Kindred is best will be going down here to Makey, and with that, also a pretty sizable, like losing a lane of CS, a wave of CS, and giving a tower play to Makey. Makey definitely back in this game after that.
Oh, of course. That is a massive swing of momentum, and it looks like we've got a demolish on that side too. Picking up that demolish gold always nice. The tower plate gold, that is. Excuse me. I don't know why I called that demolish.
It looks like it sometimes.
Hey, I always thought that rhythm was kind of fun.
The Rod of Ages was completed by Karthus, but Diana by Bisu, but Ajin not quite having it. Down about 100 gold, and also opting for the boots, for the early boots. A Kid is here, able to land the parallel convergence on Streamlover, but it's taking them a little bit to catch up, and the kill does go to Kuchi here while also dropping the equalizer for some extra damage to make sure that the re-engage onto Griffin Viper. Oh, but Griffin Viper stepping a little bit too close, but a little bit of miscommunication. It seemed like Corey backed off. They had vision of Griffin Viper heading towards the tri-bush, but Corey backs off of it and forces the flash anyway from Griffin Viper. The Super Mega Death Rocket shot out. I don't really know who it was intended for, with 3 healthy champions on the side of TSC, but about 1,000 gold lead for Iron Dragon still, and the Dragon coming up in now.
Yep. And that prized Infernal Drake at that.
Ancient Mommy and Bisu are down here and probably do want to fight for that extra 4% damage.
Yep, looks like that's definitely what we're setting up for here, but it seems that TSC has caught wind of it.
Ancient Mommy sitting there with a fully charged cask and opting to walk away from it for now.
Yep, looks like the positioning's kind of gone in TSC's favor here. Iron Dragon's a bit split up on 2 sides, though, of course, if they could collapse on from both sides, it could turn into something different. But
all of the ultimates are available on the side of TSC with no ultimate from Griffin, from no ultimates of Iron Dragon ready to fight this. So they, I think, are just opting to catch buffs and head towards the top side, maybe, or looking towards this Diana, who is here, putting down damage, but senses that something is wrong with that fight.
Oh,
goes
flash
back in
and Ignite coming
forces
out.
the flash. Ultimate is available from Ajin, and it looks like bot lane is just
intense positioning down here. Looks like they want to snag those last turret plates after the announcement.
Another fight here in the top lane. Makey going in, forcing the wind slash out from her. Doesn't have any cooldowns up for 3 more seconds, but Kindred's best might be able to turn this.
Oh, that could be risky.
Oh, is unable to turn it, and Makey walks away with another kill onto Kindred's best.
And that is definitely going to secure some time to unpush that wave up there. And with a fresh one, oh, wait a second. Oof!
The Karthus ultimate, the Requiem, was just enough damage to kill Makey.
You hate to see it happen, folks. And it looks like that's going to go into an exchange on Dragon here.
And it was just unfortunate, because actually that would not have killed in the first place.
Wow! That was a nice little steal there from Gragas with the assist from Jinx's missile.
But it seems like it's not over yet. They're re-engaging onto Corey. Corey's ultimate is still up, but it seems as though a Kid and Kuchi are way too far away to help him out. The zap landing on Kuchi here, but it doesn't seem like anybody from Iron Dragons will be able to follow it up. Trading 2 for 1 here.
Oh boy, the tower dive. And there she goes.
Looking like a 3 for, or really technically a 4. kill swing in the favor of Iron Dragon for 2.
And the dragon getting picked up there too. That cannot feel good if you're a TSC.
Especially when it gets stolen. Like, it's better in other situations, but when it gets stolen, it's a much different approach. But first items are starting to be completed here. The Runic Echoes onto on a Kid, the Death Dance onto Makey. The Phantom Dancer was already completed a couple minutes ago, but the Rod of Ages, Infinity Edge, all of the first items are pretty much out and about now. Even the Zeke's is completed onto Corey down there in that bot lane to give the Stormrazor Kaisa of Kuchir a lot of extra damage.
And with that Rod of Ages, you mentioned that was complete a while ago, so that's been ticking for a bit too. So seeing that so early and now bringing it up again now, it's just going to keep getting better.
And despite the 2 deaths onto Ajin, they are able to do that, and it looks like another fight is starting off, but forcing out the ultimate from Corey.
Yep, losing about half his health there. That is not a fun exchange, but hey, trading Alistair's ult to not actually die, not so bad.
I'll take it.
Oh, looks like Yasuo's positioning for an attack on Meki here. More of a poke.
Not in a position quite all in Makey, especially with the Death Dance keeping him very healthy and reducing a lot of that damage.
That is a good point. Definitely gives you a second thought when you're going in for something like that. Uh-oh, but the Gragas could swing things. Here comes Ancient Mommy. Oh, the flash belly bump misses!
Ooh, she misses the 3rd Q over the wall.
Into...
missing the 3rd Q. But the Kid is here on the other side, alongside Ajin, who misses the Moonfall, actually. But they're still able to pick off Ancient Mommy. But the fight is not over yet, with the auto attack after auto attack being going down, a Kid being forced to go out.
There's the
Super Mega Death Rocket picks off a Kid, and Ajin just unable to put down nearly enough damage to kill anybody. Which is another 3-for-1 swing in favor of Iron Dragon.
And that was something that definitely looked to be in their favor from the beginning, but they kept swinging back and forth with the different reinforcements coming in. That rocket cross-map, though.
Yeah, that turned the fight quite a bit, because that actually sent Dreamlover, that sent KR Griffin Viper an extra kill down there, too.
Wow, that was close. What you doing in there?
Karthus definitely wanted it. Nisu wanted that mid lane tower. He said, I have the damage to do this. I'm going to do this. And he did it.
It is mine, and no one will tell me otherwise.
No. But as the lanes start to reset yet again, laning phase not seeming to be quite over yet, even though there's a lot going on. Teleport coming in from Makey. Don't really know what that was meant to accomplish there, but the zap definitely stopped.
Fear. No, fear and momentum, it looks like, as Makey hangs around.
I mean, I suppose it makes sense if you're expecting to be here for an extended period of time, because the dragon is up in 40 seconds.
Oh, that's a good point. You know, they might be pushing for that tower to get a bit more for that exact dragon.
Possibly, but Kindred's Best will most likely take the tower in top for this.
Ooh, yeah, not the best exchange, but it's taking him a little longer than ideal? Nah, he's probably got this.
Yeah, but now with no teleport available from Makey and a teleport available from Kindred, he has more pressure to TP into this bot lane fight.
Good point, and a Yasuo appearing out of nowhere, especially if you manage to the charging your Q on minions. Yeah, that's gonna feel great for Kindred, not so much for basically anybody else.
The dragon has spawned and is started by Iron Dragons here, but is suspected by TSC.
But Iron Dragon's actually going for a double approach here, as Kindred has also started the Rift Herald.
Corey is out here and is unable to find anybody with the Headbutt Pulverize combo, and ends up going down here relatively soundly. Nobody really able to give him the proper help that he needs to drop anybody.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when you get caught out as a support like that. The only piece of good news is it looks like that Kindred couldn't put out enough damage to take the Rift Herald before Baron spawned in its place. So that swing could have been just a little worse, but it's not exactly pretty.
Nope, with a almost 6,000, it's nearing the 6,000 gold lead.
Pretty much.
And is quickly starting to look bad for TSC. It's slowly bleeding them out.
However, if TSC can get into the point of getting a little more gold under their belts, we were commenting before on how the scaling on both of these teams is a little insane. So this is certainly not over.
Not by any means, especially when you're looking at a Diana and an Echo.
Oh, perfect wall flash from Riven there. Oh, turning Izaki comes in to re-engage that top lane fight, and number swinging against Iron Dragons.
To hit that.
Looks like Makey is going to make it alive, and so will everyone else involved. Wait a second.
The body slam cast lands onto it. Ancient Mommy is hitting there, just getting smacked away by everybody else. But it seems as though Ajin doing his combo a little bit too quickly doesn't have the Super Mega Death Rocket, all but ensuring the death of Makey. And now the ultimate coming out is going to drop Ajin. But it doesn't look like they'll have enough to drop for a kid on either side for a kid, Ancient Mommy. And here comes Kindred's best to possibly pick him up. Possibly, but it doesn't seem like he will.
I think Kindred's mostly there to say, get the heck out of my neighborhood. This is my top lane, what are you doing here? Oh, in the heat, too. Iron Dragon's taking the second bottom turret.
2 items completed on this Jinx and looking for a third. The Stormrazor and Ginsu's completed onto Kuchi here, but Kuchi here has not been able to really fight since the laning phase.
Yeah, he's not been caught in the best positions. That can be one of the pitfalls of Alistair, is you're sort of stuck getting right in the middle of it, and he's got the tools for it, but if you're not ready, you're not ready.
No, 55 reduced damage is 55 reduced physical and magic damage is a lot, but it doesn't mean anything if it's 7 seconds, but it doesn't mean anything if you can't do anything in those 7 seconds.
Exactly. Resets here. Looks like Griffin picking up a red buff on Jinx, which is not something I ever like to say about any opponent of mine.
And with those AoE rocket crits, it's gonna proc red buff too, so.
You know, I had forgotten about that. That is a good point. Stop making me more afraid of the crazy rocket lady.
Crazy rocket lady is ready to look at Baron.
Yeah,
they are spotted out, and 3 members of TSC are on the bot side heading up here now. They might make it in time, they might not. It's about half.
Ooh, it's gonna be close. If they can
drops down to 25%.
Steal here, though. Oh!
And he does. A kid pulls off the steal, and Ajin goes down almost immediately after. No kills traded back.
That is
TSC. TSC still looking for this fight, and finally he's looking for the fight
This game is swinging in our favor, and it's swinging now as they focus Karthus into oblivion.
And nobody's able to stop Kuchi here from doing anything, who's just putting out damage now.
And then
what started off as a really good fight for TSC ended up going very poorly after the death of Bisu, whose Requiem did quite a bit of damage with the Rod of Ages, the Zanyas, and both Needlesses completed.
Well, and you can't blame them for keeping the pressure on, too. Everything looked to be going in TSC's favor. Iron Dragons looked a bit scattered. The Baron had been stolen. They had a numbers advantage for a moment there, too. It just fell apart. And it's always unfortunate when that happens, because when you get that major steal, you get that slightly come-from-behind team fight in terms of game positioning, you just want to keep the advantage and make the full swing.
But the Zanyas was preventing any damage from going out, and Kuchi here, looking for a fight like that, was in the perfect position to make that fight as good as it needed to be, but just could not put out enough damage thanks to the Zanyas.
And it looks like we're going for round 2 for the Drake here.
Kindred is best going down almost immediately before the fight even breaks out fully. But the Equalizer coming out and Adjun going down, not standing on the Dragon. Dragon being picked
Echo
up by
managing
TSC.
to grab the Dragon, though.
The kid really out here on the jungle, making sure to take these objectives away from them.
Seriously, that snipe timing is better than anything I've ever pulled off. And a kid's just decided, it's like, you know, if I'm going to do one thing right, it's going to be this.
Kuchi are taking a zap to the mouth, but it doesn't seem like it's going to stop them enough.
So interestingly, after all that chaos with the objectives both going to the side of TSC, even though they lost the team fights in terms of kills, they have not lost any ground in terms of gold. Still looking at a deficit, but it hasn't gotten any bigger.
That's the big thing. Like, when you're trying to stop the bleeding, is to stop the gold difference from increasing, which is what they're doing. And now second items have been pretty much completed across the board, and now third items are about to start coming in. So now Kuchi here, who I think just upgraded his E.
Yep, and it looks like both sides just going for a bit of a recovery time after that. Looks like most of everyone's resources are ready to go, though. But with Dragon and Baron both taken recently, unless we get a catch-out or a fight over a tower, I think we're going to be waiting a little while.
Yeah, see, this is the problem with Kaisa. Kaisa just now, 26 minutes into the game, completed her Q upgrade and does not have her E upgrade yet. So that is the problem with the Storm Razor build, is that unless you build a second Doran's Ring, you don't usually get that Q upgrade as soon as you need it to, and she still doesn't have the upgraded E as well for the invisibility. So now, the Cathy Rain and the Supercharge not being upgraded is a huge damage deficit, despite being ahead in items. But now
gonna have to wait on that for a second, though, and fights breaking out in bottom. And it looks like TSC is going to take a major advantage here as they take down Kindred, making their second kill of that engagement.
I don't know. In my eyes, my money is still on TSC. They catching out Ancient Mommy here is going to be huge. The explosive pass coming out, and he's not going to be able to survive that. Diana,
no, he is not. It's just a matter of taking anyone down with him.
Force the flash. And that is a 3-for-1 so far, and it can turn into more.
3-for-1, and with momentum turning in their favor from it too. Picking up a turret, maybe an exterior turret, but turrets are turrets. And that is definitely going to make an impact on that difference we were talking about. Kaisa using her ult to jump to Jinx.
The Cathy Rain going out, the Zanya is being forced out. The no Killer Instinct to use to reposition.
Teleport coming in, Yasuo jumping on. And Ajin goes down to Kindred again.
Again, what seems like wonderful fights and starts out really well for TSC. They always get caught, not always, but they've been getting caught on this back end every time during this game.
I've got to agree with you.
The one there is huge.
It seriously is. These fights, as you said, have looked great for them, and unfortunately, it hints that they might be getting just a little bit antsy here. Can't blame them with everything going on, but they just seem desperate to pick up any kind of advantage that they might be pushing the ones they get just a second too hard.
Another fight breaking out. Wind Slash blown from Meiki, but nothing else seems to be there. Q's Broken Wings available and able to take down Kindred's best and walk away with his life so far, with some help from Corey, and now the Zeke's on it. Is going to put down a lot of damage. Headbutting a little far from Meiki. Should probably just focus Ancient Mommy, but it's opting to run at this point.
Yeah,
looks like they is almost available. Nope. The Requiem will be up in the next 4 seconds, and there's no way that they're going to be able to get out of this in time.
The taser snipe from Jinx,
catch with Corey.
At the last second, Corey coming in and saving. Unless
the Requiem comes in, and it's just short of the damage it needs to be, as everyone starts limping away from this fight.
Unfortunately, though, they are limping away from a freshly spawned Baron Nashor.
Ajin is like kind of suspecting that they're running at them, but not only is Baron up, but there's also a dragon coming up with only a kid heading for it right now, and he's going to be able to slow it down at all.
That's true, that's true. That's the downside of those synchronized objectives coming out. But they did both go to TSC last time, so in terms of jungle objectives... Oh, well, never mind. That dragon is dead.
Yeah, because Jinx is one of those champions that's a monster at shredding objectives like that. So we're looking at Griffin Viper, who's sitting there on that minigun with an extra 130% attack speed.
And that, in colloquial terms, is a crap load of bullets.
That is a lot of bullets.
That said, though, these fights have... Oh, wait, never mind. Maybe I should bring this up later.
The gold lead has, in fact, actually been cut down to 3,000 and slowly is turning back into TSC's favor, which I think is going to work out a little bit better because they have a front line to work with.
That is true, and with the potential fight around Baron just starting to heat up, it gives me a second to say, cut down slowly. They've cut it in half.
The parallel convergence threatening Iron Dragon.
Everyone wants to be around this Baron, but it looks like nothing's going to come from it.
It's worth mentioning that a kid is down a level currently to Ancient Mami, so a Smite fight I don't think is what they're looking for. But Bisu is down here in this bot lane with teleport available, but and also a teleport for Makey also available. So trying to push out this bot lane and make sure it doesn't hit the towers is important. But if the towers do swing back into TSC's favor, another fight breaking out, forcing out the ultimate. Ajin hitting a huge Diana ultimate here in this mid lane. And they are just going to get decimated here, 4-0. Oh, maybe 5 if Bisu is able to get here. Which Corey is able to do so. The Zanya is going out, but it's not going to be enough. He can tank as many tower shots as needed to walk away from that.
And that tower was so weak,
that's going to be Baron.
That is going to be an ace, that is going to be Baron, and that is going to be the gold differential swung the other direction by a couple hundred. TSC now in the lead and pretty comparable on other objectives other than towers.
They're in the lead, mind you, and that's while also being down 3 towers. And the gold lead is going to swing back into their favor with the Baron.
By an exceptional margin here, we go from a 3K deficit on TSC's side to a 2K advantage. That is almost a complete change.
It started off with the huge ultimate coming out from Diana, which I know Kinderspiel is definitely going to yell at me for later because aka saying she should be banned, but I'm like, they also grouped up for her. So I mean, it was just a perfect opportunity taken advantage of with the flash in from Ajin.
And not only the ultimate, that W coming out and snaring, pulling in, disabling, what, 3, 4, all 5 members of Iron Dragon?
Champions. 4 members, because Bisu was not quite there yet.
That is the fight that they have been looking for, and the fight that they have been chasing all of this time. And now that they have found it, things are going to be different for a few minutes here.
And the Requiem is now at the 1,000 base damage point, so that's going to be huge on the side of Iron Dragon. So fights can go either way. The ultimate being forced out from a kid and a fight starting out anyway. Ancient Mami is not in this fight just yet, but the Parallel Convergence and the Unbreakable Will allow them to disengage this fight really well.
Now, did you see the snapback damage on that Echo Q? That's nuts.
Huge. It does more damage when you're coming back, and then if you double that with the damage from his passive at the same time, it hits for a lot.
It is a miracle that we didn't see a kill off of that.
And TSC walked away from that fight with pretty much completely healthy.
Echo did have to use their ultimate to keep that completely healthy, but it doesn't look like it's going to be too much longer on that. Oh, in fact, it's up.
Yep, it's on a 32-second cooldown right now.
Yeah, I don't think a kid's afraid of having to jump out, man.
Nope, but they do separate out as the next dragon spawns in the next 40 seconds, and Ajin is here in this bot lane, making sure that they have prio there, and I'm sure somebody will put the prio back into mid lane as well, which will give TSC all of the positioning and wards that they need to set up this dragon properly.
And on top of the positioning and everything, we've still got Baron buff, which is a good swing in power, on top of the fact that, remember, we have now swung to TSC being in the lead by just under 3,000 gold. They might truly be looking for a full fight over this dragon.
Looking for a full fight. They're looking for this win against the undefeated.
And that is certainly a massive achievement and cannot feel great if you're in Iron Dragon positions. They had a lot going for them until about 2 minutes ago.
And it's not to count them out just yet. They still own this.
Oh, of course not.
Unable to secure the dragon, though, and forcing out several ultimates to try and steal it.
Ultimates, yes,
Between the
but
Equalizer, the Super Mega Death Rocket, as well as the Explosive Cast, none of the burst was enough to outsmite a Kid and the damage that they had on their side. But there are no traps for Jinx for Griffin Viper for another 10 seconds, which means if a fight were to break out underneath this tower, it would not go too well. But Kindred is best. Looks like he's about to get caught out, which he most definitely is.
Almost, but he has gotten to the help of his friends.
And Makey is here in this top lane, and not to mention that the CS differences across the board are actually not too serious except for the top and the AD carries, because it's actually even in the jungle. And oh no, it's different across the board in both directions. So like Griffin Viper up about 30 CS, Agent up about 30 CS, and then Makey who's up about 20 CS.
Yeah, and it all adds up, every little bit of it. Any advantage you can get, especially in terms of gold and item builds by extension, it's gonna matter. Though all of those ultimates thrown to attempt to steal the dragon are now back, and we are looking at 3-3 in terms of those. So this is definitely still anyone's game, and that's gotta feel pretty good for TSC.
Any CC, if they had any more CC for this for Dream Lovers Rumble, it'd be a much different game. But this is looking down as they decide to barrel into this mid lane as 5. Seems
Yep,
like
some momentum coming in through bot lane. Right as TSC is putting pressure on mid. Not sure how. Carry definitely looking for an angle to catch someone out with that pulverize combo, though.
The flashes are available. All of the summoner spells in the game are currently available for use.
Oh gosh,
so they are looking for the Baron in the next 45. I don't think that either team will opt for a fight until then.
That is a good point, actually. That 45 seconds is going to be long spells, and some of the ultimates, though, it looks like ultimates are coming back pretty quick in this game.
I would also like to mention that Makey does have an Edge of Night on top of Asterix, which makes him very difficult to kill alongside the extra health on the Black Cleaver as well as the Death Stance, and also a stopwatch, so he is not going to die anytime soon. Unless he's
Though it looks like a kid might have stepped somewhere he shouldn't have.
Not really, the Chrono Break's still available, and his team there to help him out. Seems as though he might ult back on for the huge burst of damage, and he does, but but Makey is here to turn the fight around. The Wind Slash still available and catching him out. This huge ultimate coming in from Kindred, but the fight is not over yet. Gucci here able to use the Void Rush to get away. The Killer Instinct, I mean, sorry. But it doesn't even seem to matter. The game might be over because Ajin and Makey are tearing down these mid towers. Griffin Viper on the back end trying to beat it, but Griffin Viper just exploding instantly. And yeah, this game might just be over. Yep, the game is over. TSC was able to hand Iron Dragons their first loss of the season.
That I am sitting with a spectator's camera. I can see everything on the map, and I didn't even notice the move. That's amazing.
Diana wasn't in the fight to begin with. Diana wasn't in the fight to begin with, and they won that fight without her.
Oh my gosh. I know I said it was anyone's game, and I meant it. I truly did. But that is not the ending I expected. And if you say you did, you are lying.
I don't think anybody was paying attention to that.
wow, just we have it. This is it. We're done. Game's over. Let's go. That is exactly, goodness gracious.
Geez, that like even that like I of course like nobody expected it except for myself because I was rooting for TSC the whole time. But I'm supposed to be impartial, so I will be impartial, and we will show the damage charts because the damage charts say that Echo, who's that? That is a kid did the highest damage on their team, followed by Ajin's Diana, and then Makey's Riven. Like, it's an attestament to what I was saying earlier into the game, where it was very difficult for Kuchihiro to step up into these fights and really take control, because the Kuchihiro's Kaisa had a lot of damage. It could do a lot of damage, but it just wasn't in a position to do it. So, like, it was getting caught out, or was just not able to stick to any targets, just not able to put down auto attacks onto these champions. But it's also a huge attestament to everyone else here. But even looking on the side of Iron Dragon, like, it just seemed as though they just could not bring it together this game, because all of their damage was obviously coming from Bisu's Karthus pick, but it was like everybody else on the team was only doing like mediocre damage, where it was just like it wasn't a lot of it, because there was plenty of it on their team, but just not being put out because of the huge pieces of CC coming out between all of the members of TSC.
Not only the CC, but you were talking about it from the beginning, the mobility. So we had so much damage coming out from Karthus and all that, but think about the other enabling factors on this team. Rumble's field, Jinx traps. If you just step to the side of them with a third of a Riven Q or the tumble on Echo's Q, and that's the end of it, then that's that enabler gone and that damage source gone in terms of some of them, especially when, as a dead Karthus, you kind of need to fight the fight to stay still.
Which was, we might be able to get an interview here. I'm getting in. We might be able to get Corey. But if you enjoyed that game, please tell your friends, drop a follow, leave a like, leave anything, follow us on social media, do whatever. Support the channel, because there's much more where that game came from, and that was probably one of my favorite games to do this season.
That is an amazing start to the day as well.
Mm-hmm.
That it's the first game of the day. First game. A complete upset on an undefeated team? I mean, it doesn't feel as fun, I'm sure, for Iron Dragons. Sorry, guys, but...
But it's okay. This is okay. I'm perfectly fine with this.
Fine with it? Goodness gracious. And what a game to be my first appearance on the channel was that? Oh, gosh. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of starting to wonder what I've been missing. So, yeah, because I don't know. I wouldn't want to miss more of it if I had just seen that.
Yeah, even attending to the team comp itself, it's like, going back to the mobility, with the lack of mobility between the Karthus and the Jinx, it was extremely easy for a kid in Ajin and even Makey at times to just walk up to them and just explode them. Like I said, like later into the game, that was going to be the case.
Oh yeah. No, this was a match of the scales, and the scales went both directions until Ajin just decided, you know what? I'm just trying to drop a 20-pound weight on our side, just real casual-like.
Which is exactly what happened with that one major team fight where we got flash QE'd in, no auto attacks placed in between, just went in, blew up all four champions. A huge, like, it had to be like 600, 700 damage that was put out on each champion.
And again, each champion. That is a huge amount of burst from a character that has to get into melee range with people that were supposed to have a lot of good threats against melee. Getting into melee range with Karthus is dangerous. You might kill him, but it's scary. but it sure worked out.
Mm-hmm. And it's like one of those things where you can find the situation. If you find the specific situations for Diana for her to shine like that, it's not going to go well for the whoever's on the other side of it.
Not even remotely.
But looking into this into the schedule, we do have up next Threat Level Midnight versus Endgame, but we're going to see if we can get that interview up and running real quick. But
Yeah, it
we
looks like
are
we just got
having a little bit
some.
of technical difficulties on grabbing
Exactly.
Corey.
But honestly, I'd be surprised if neither team had at least one mic that was blown out after the end of that one.
I hope it was as fun for them as it was for us.
Well, I know it certainly had to have been for half of them. And even if that was an interesting and just an interesting game, I'm struggling for a second word here.
Fun, exciting, crazy, all over the place. Like these are all words
Yeah.
that I would use for it.
I'd lose for it. That should, you know what? I'm going to use that. I like that. I would lose for that game. Oh, gosh. Looks like we are the only people reacting to it, too. Seems like everyone's taking notice of everything going down. As
Yeah,
someone
the
has
Twitch
said,
chat's
nice
blowing
job
up,
taking down the Kings.
which is the best thing to go with it.
Oh, and it looks like we're going to have a bit of a channel change here, so hold on a second.
Okay.
And I think we're back online here, aren't we?
It seems like we are. So, Corey.
Yeah, how you feeling, dude?
Very, very nervous.
Nervous? You should
And
be excited.
happy.
You guys just took down the king.
I was going to say, what do you have to be nervous about? Your performance is over.
Still shaking.
That is
so,
fair.
so take me through that game. Like take me through actually that team fight at the like right outside the Baron where Ajin hit that huge Diana ultimate for you guys.
Goodness gracious.
Dude, when I saw that, we just all engaged in and hope for the best.
What was going on in the comms?
Yeah, what'd that sound like?
We were screaming, yelling,
I told you.
like, "Oh my god! Oh my god!"
when
How could
they
you
chunked
not?
out for like a lot of damage. But now, tell me. I think what the viewers want to know is how you decided, how you guys set this game up, and like what was the mentality at the like near the beginning of the game where things were starting to look good for you guys, where it was where you had the 4-0 Kaisa, you have a couple of dragons to your name. Like what? Take me through the beginning of that.
We wanted to focus around playing with Kaisa, try and use her lead, but we didn't really do that, and we started throwing our lead.
Why did you think it was so difficult for her to use her lead?
In the early game, she just kept getting one shot by Karthus ult.
Yeah, that'll be a deterrent for sure.
And then I think
I got flamed.
You did?
Yeah,
For
flamed me
getting caught up?
all in lane for not going in, not using his
Oh
lead.
no.
It happens. But now I think the last question that I think is on everybody's mind is that last team fight. How did you guys come to the what was the decision where it was like, okay, Ajin's just gonna split top lane. We got this fight. Like how did you guys come to that decision that you guys could do that?
We just listen to the shot calls from our jungler. He makes most of the calls, and Gragas came out, and we just decided to jump on Gragas.
Yeah,
So it was just like a fling of the moment kind of thing.
Yeah.
yeah. I gotta admit, when I saw Akid get next to Karthus like that, I don't know if you heard it on the stream, if there was enough of a delay that you guys got that, but I had actually called out Akid as looks like he's somewhere he doesn't want to be. Now
And I
I'm the
said he
fool.
was fine. I said he was fine because the chrono break was available. So,
You did. You called it right.
but I think that is all we're going to have time for. We are running quite a bit late, but I think it's worth it, seeing as how this is a bit of a special occasion.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to interview us. And once again, for all of you viewers out there, drop a follow, leave a like, follow us everywhere, because we are trying to grow the channel as much as possible to make it an even better experience going forward. But to wrap things up nicely right here, we do have up next Threat Level Midnight versus Endgame for another explosive game after a short break.